Too Big, the GOAT, back. And wow, amazing arc I just finished from Gintama, Yoshiwara in the Flames arc. Wow, dude. How the fuck is this only 8 episodes? I think Gintama is a sleeper anime. Like, it is popular, more in Japan, but in America, it is not as popular. You know, it is highly rated in my anime list. It's not as well known and talked about as the big three, yada yada, Jujutsu Kaisen, all these other popular anime. I think it's up there. It punches above its weight for sure. But Gintama fans, sit tight. I just started watching Gintama, and I got to the first series arc, and I'll give my honest thoughts and reviews. So if you like the anime content, continue to support. I appreciate you guys. Subscribe. Let's get it. This is the arc that shifts from a episodic comedy to a really, really serious arc. It shows the potential that Gintama has to be one of the greats. This isn't the first actual serious arc, but I believe the first like super serious arc where it's like emotional, lots of fighting, and honestly peak. Like it's like a 10 out of 10 arc for me right now. And there's so much emotional payoffs. It's kind of like a regular ass anime. In another sense, it's like the first time they actually lock in, and it acts like an actual shonen. The story is about a kid named Seita. He believes his mom works in the Yoshiwara, which is like a red light district. I believe this scene in the beginning of the arc was from a previous like episode, and then they just expanded upon it, which is really sick. Like you think these like small scenes before is just part of the comedy, and then they build a whole story upon it later on. It's kind of crazy. A side note for some history lessons: Yoshiwara is the name of the most famous red light district in the Edo period, which is modern day Tokyo. If you break down the word to 2 words, Yoshi meaning fortune or luck, and Wara/Hara meaning field or plain. The name has no correlation to the prostitution, but it's just the historical element of the name. In Gintama, they have a fictionalized version of it. Yoshiwara is an underground city hidden from the sun. It serves as a place where courtesans and prostitution are forced to live and work. In this arc, the lack of sunlight symbolizes how women in Yoshiwara are denied freedom and hope. This arc's about breaking those chains and revealing the sunlight. You know, it's such a beautiful writing in this arc, like crazy. A Hiyaka, what an entrance. Hiyaka also translates to 100 flowers, or 100 blooms, I believe. They are a team of elite female assassins that protect Yoshiwara, and they are led by an assassin named Tsukio. One line that stuck with me in the initial episodes was, "Hold a rose too closely, you'll get pierced by its thorns." I don't know why that stuck with me, but it kind of makes sense. The Hiyakas, they're crazy. They be throwing their kunais like crazy. And one of my favorite bits is when Gintoki gets hit in the forehead with a kunai and he's pretending like it's all right. The backstory of the women that work at Yoshiwara. So they're basically stuck in Yoshiwara because they would have to work there until they're useless or ugly. You know, they can't get pregnant, stuff like that. They're basically trapped, basically slaves. And all the politicians, all the politics, like, you know, those big guys in the world, they pull up, spend a lot of time, get drunk, you know, do all the prostitution and all that. And what goes down is that there's a lot of secrets being told between the dudes, between the politicians, the big names, you know what I mean? With the women being so close with these type of people, a lot of secrets are spilled. So these women are trapped here because they don't want any information to be leaked. So basically, a broad sense, they're trapped because they like people with power don't want information being leaked. That's how it is. That's life, right? The Yato clan entrance was dope. The reintroduction of Kamui and his vice captain of the Harasume 7th Division, Abuto. You get great fights in this arc, just like Hosen, the main villain, and between Kagura's brother, Kamui. It kind of shows the power scaling in Gintama because, you know, we had a lot of fights so far. Until now, it's showing like a very serious, very crazy fight. Like, it's like scaled up comparative to previous episodes. Even in the series arc, there's a lot of like funny moments, like when Gintoki, Shinpachi, and Kagura have like big boobs on. I'll show it here. Moving on to one of the more serious parts, the Tsukuyo versus her old Hiyaka killed me. She let Gintoki pass and Shinpachi pass, Kagura pass. While she's standing on top of the stairs, she kept deflecting all their kunai. The Hiyaka was throwing a lot of kunai, and She was deflecting all of it, but was resisting to attack them. She didn't fight back. I think she was a badass in this arc, to be honest. And the Hyaka stopped attacking her because of what she did for them. She was like a mom to them. She protected them. The loyalty, you know what I mean? The backstory made it seem like Sukiyo was forced to like kill these useless women, like I said previously, but she would save them and hide them within her group of assassins, which would save their lives. And so they were appreciative of what she did and didn't kill her. This moment made me sad. Like, it's crazy, bro. And it shows the writing, like it's pretty solid for a comedy, you know what I mean? Lots of emotional moments. But to me, the main attraction to this arc, Kagura and Shinpachi, quote unquote, versus Abato. To be honest, it was more of Kagura versus Abato, but Shinpachi got smacked and caused Kagura to go dummy. Yeah, so when Shinpachi gets hurt, Kagura unlocks her Yato bloodline, her eyes get bloodshot. Same moment. She like unlocks her like Yato powers or something. Like they're like crazy fighters. Like they're destined to fight. Yeah, she went crazy and whooped his ass, and then they fell off the roof. Great fight. One of my favorite fights of all time already. Anyways, the second highlight of this arc was Gintoki and the squad versus Hosen, the main villain. Hosen takes the umbrella from the statue to use as a weapon. Sick moment. Gintoki was losing, never gives up, shows resilience. The little break they had in episode 145 where they mentioned like the budget. They're running down a budget. It was kind of cool. It was kind of funny. So a little break between the action. I just don't know how they fit so many fights or so many of the backstory between characters and a lot of emotional payoffs all in 8 episodes. This felt like a whole anime arc, like 12 to 24 episodes, but they crunched it up into 8 episodes. Crazy. They showed the Hosen backstory, and the girl that he trapped there said like, I always wanted to show you the sun. In this moment he was dying, right? That shit got me kind of emotional, like he couldn't see the sun, like that's why everything was underground, and then all she ever wanted to do growing up was show him the sun, right? Show him something that he could never have. And that shit low-key made me cry a little bit. I definitely need more Kamui. I kind of like him. Like, he seems like a dick, though, but his fights were cool. I want to see him versus Kagura. Like, we didn't see any of that, if I remember correctly. And I definitely need to see him versus Gintoki. I'd be sick. I feel like that's going to happen. I feel like Kamui would be one of the main villains in the whole series. Maybe not, like, main villain, but, like, maybe, like, he gets his own arc, I feel. This is, like, his second introduction to the anime, to Gintama, and I think there's a lot of promise in showing Kamui this strong. He was, like, low-key as strong as Hosen, if not more, and he kind of let Kagura and Gintoki walk away unscathed, basically, after the fight with Hosen, and he was like, yeah, I want you guys to train. I want you guys to be stronger. I want to see you guys at your peak, which kind of reminds me of, like, Hisoka with Gon and I believe Killua too, where he wants to fight them at their peak with their full potential, with their full strength. So it kind of seems like the same here, where Kamui wants to fight either Kagura or Gintoki when they're at their peaks, because I'm sure they're gonna get stronger, from what I could tell. Yeah, I mean that's all I could really say about this arc. It's just really good. It's a 10 out of 10 arc. I don't know if you could tell the way I'm talking, right? But let me tell you this. This arc is amazing. It's the first arc that made me fall in love with Gintama. I was loving it already. First 100 or so episodes, I was giving it like an 8 or 9, probably like a 9. Now, with this 10 out of 10 arc, all the watching a couple episodes here and there, it's kind of worth it. Makes me want to finish. We're not even halfway there. And I heard all the peak arcs at the end, so maybe I'll make this a series and just review every series arc or review every 10 out of 10 arc, whatever, and give like a broad sense of how I feel. But I'm starting to love this cast with Gintoki, Shinpachi. Kagura is growing on me like crazy after this arc. And even the side cast, I'm starting to love them, there's some episodes where it's like kind of, it makes me sleepy, but there's a lot of payoffs emotionally. There's a lot of payoffs. Like, I feel like I'm there with them. I'm part of the odd jobs, but if Gintama has a couple more arcs just like this, if not better, this could be one of my favorite animes of all time. One of the greatest animes of all time. It just has great writing, man. Just in the first series arc alone. Let me know how you guys feel about Gintama. Have you watched it? What episode made you fall in love? What arc made you fall in love? Do you hate Gintama? Comment below anything. Have you not watched Gintama? I forgot to do a spoiler warning, but If you're here, let me know how you feel about this arc, because if this video made you want to watch, then check it out. Like, do you think watching 100 plus episodes to hit the first serious arc, serious arc, I know there's other serious arcs, but super serious arc, it's up to you. Gintama, first 10 out of 10 arc, Yoshiwara in Flames. There's a movie coming out on Netflix, perfect timing, August 27th, by the way. Thanks for watching a review. If you enjoyed the anime content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Peace.